what a lot of people think of it as. They think of it more as an organizational chart. And yes, it is an organization of your people and your functions. But it's called an accountability chart because Traction really is good at labeling things and keeping them simple. And so what is accountability? It's who's accountable for what. And it's also baked into the whole system that the accountability resides with one person. And that doesn't mean that that person has to do all the work for that function, but it means that that person's accountable for it. So they have to make sure it gets done. And as you start to look at the accountability chart, don't let it confuse you, because you might be in a place or you might have a function that you don't report to the person that's accountable for that. That's where it gets sometimes a little bit confusing, but if you just kind of go back to what am I accountable for and what am I contributing to? And that's how we parse it out. So in a very typical business, any business, there's 5 primary functions, large or small, any industry, and that is a visionary. That's often called the CEO. And I really like the visionary title better because it's descriptive. What does that person do? CEO, Chief Executive Officer. What's an executive officer? I mean, it doesn't exactly tell you. And good CEOs are visionaries. The next role is called an integrator. And the integrator's primary function is to integrate the other 3 functions, which are sales and marketing, operations, and finance. And you're a much more complex organization than that. So you have more than 5 functions, but in general speaking, that's the basis of the accountability chart. So as we look at it, you'll start to see it. Actually on Thursday, you're gonna have handouts so you can really examine it more, you can learn it, study it, see what it is. It's meant to do a couple things. It's meant to bring clarity, it's meant to bring accountability, it's meant to improve communication, and it's meant to improve performance. Because when you see your function and what you do and how important it is, and how you can contribute to the overall function of this chart and this operation of this business, it's really quite exciting. And as a secondary note, it also ought to give you, I hope, any of you that want to advance in your career, grow, do more, take on a leadership role, start to look at those functions that interest you and start to see how you can learn how to move into that function. So it should help your career development as well. And all of these things contribute to the healthy side of an organization. And those of you that haven't been to the communications and personality course, you'll see a quick little 3-minute video on the difference between smart and healthy. And smart being all functions, you know, the knowledge you have about electrical, about engineering, about finance and engineering and marketing. The healthy side is the communication side, the minimal politics. So that's what we're really going for when we go with this. So, of course, as you know, Carl is the visionary, our visionary, and a good one at that, I might add, really good one. And for him to be able to free up some of the reins and really be a good visionary and look further down the road, not be so embroiled in the day-to-day. I think we knew that we had really made some progress a couple of months ago when Carl made a comment at one of the leadership team meetings and said, you know, I haven't actually had tools in my car. I haven't used a tool in a couple of months. And that's good. That's good. I mean, doesn't mean he can't, doesn't mean he won't. He's got some great skills. But it's pretty cool that his attention, and that's really another word we're going to talk a lot about, is where is his attention? His attention is forward, out there, a couple years down the road, a couple months down the road, quarter by quarter, making sure things are going well. So that's a little bit of an overview of what the accountability chart is, and I hope I've piqued your interest. This is a dynamic chart too. With a good, growing, learning organization, it doesn't just get done and then there it is and it sits there. We update it, if not on a monthly basis, at least on a quarterly and an annual basis. So what's cool about it is there's one rule of thumb with the accountability chart, that there can be only one name for each box. So we box it out or parse out the functions in small enough pieces so that one person can be accountable for that. You can't have 2 people sharing it, because when you have 2 people, then who really owns it? And that's where we get to the accountability part. So in some cases, in smaller organizations or as you're growing, and you probably know this, you know, people like Shane or Brian Gray or Carl for that matter, they had their name in lots of boxes, like 15. And that's too many as you start start to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So then the cool thing about that is you can take off one box and give it to somebody else, and it's not such a big role that they can try that and learn it. So maybe that step-by-step approach, you're starting to make sense with it. So Carl's our great visionary. I'd like to bring up the I-team, Integrator team, because Carl and I decided as we looked at this role, the Integrator function, it really was, it was just a big role, and it was best going to be filled for our organization with 3 people and a team. So come on up, Rich and Melanie and Shane. Oh yeah, this is the Integrator team, people. That was great. So I will give you kind of the standard, some of the functions of the Integrator team, and then I'm going to have each of them talk about a little bit of their part of it. So as the Integrator, they can answer questions about each of the roles. So engineering, electrical, and finance and HR. They provide direction, act as a filter, prioritize, keep the team focused on reaching our goals, completing projects, move the team to action, get things done, help solve client issues, retain and grow great talent, keep everyone on the same page, convert vision to strategy and tactical plans. That's a big one. Convert the vision to strategy and tactical plans. That's a big job. Hold the leadership team accountable to the vision, manages the day-to-day and integrates the major functions, executes the business plan, make the company profitable, get things unstuck and over the finish line, drive the tempo. So that means sometimes, right, Rich, you slow Carl down a little bit. Carl has a good tempo, really good tempo, and we all are keeping up. But there's times when it's really valuable to slow down and think through something a little bit more, and that's really good. And then lastly, remove obstacles and barriers. That's one of my favorite ones, because when we first start working with leadership teams, and anyone, there's so many issues. There's just issues that people don't know how to solve, and those are obstacles. And if you can start solving those, and this team has gotten really good at solving that, and this is why we're here, so that all of you start getting good at it too. So removing obstacles and barriers, for the Integrator team, it's the tactical. It's the technical, the financial, the intellectual, the smart side. And for P2, it's the interpersonal, the motivational, the energetic, the high performance. If you have a barrier to giving your best performance, we want to know about it. Communication, retain and grow the talent, and leadership. Grow the leadership, because as you grow in numbers of people, the leadership gets diluted. We don't want that. We want leaders stepping up all the time. The cultural and the healthy side of the equation. And together, why is that important to you? Okay, so this is what you can expect to see more of from our team's work. Carl and I to hold these guys and myself accountable for more communication, better flow, more alignment, more efficiency and effectiveness, less waste and frustration, easier ability for you to perform up to your potential. So that was a lot of words from me. Let's just get a little bit about how you guys are going. We've just gotten this team started, so where have we been? We've had several same page meetings. In 2020, this team is going to really run.
Is this one on? So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Rich Kuchenmeister. I'm the engineering manager and general manager for Knobelsdorff Electric, and I'm part of the I team. So can you guys know that a little bit better? Use the mic. I talk loud though, so. But anyway, we kind of devised the Integrator team with Melanie and Shane and myself, and we meet once a week, and kind of just, I guess my role in the whole thing is to, they call it keep the trains running on time, and that's just going through the details, making sure we're making progress every day, and really focusing on procedures, processes, trying to get things documented, so when we do new projects, we're not recreating the wheel every day or every time. So it's more or less just like I said, putting documentation in place so we can all follow it and do things the same way. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, and I'm Melanie Peterson, and I'm the general manager of Knobelsdorff Enterprises. And I guess for all of us, I mean, we all just bring different ideas to the table. Everybody thinks differently. That way, the three of us, we can sit at the table together and kind of hash everything out. You know, Rich is more, he likes the flow of things. I'm more fly by the seat of your pants.
They call me OCD, so.
I'm Shane Madison, I'm general manager of the electrical department. I guess I'm kind of here for the knowledge of what we have done for the last, I've been here 20 years, so like I said, we look at all of our procedures and try to streamline them and implement them.
I'm going to add a little bit more. Just because I'm in charge of, well, not really in charge, but really focus on the processes and things like that. I invite anybody that's got ideas for things we can do better, things we can document better, to submit those. We'll have a process for doing that, probably use some variation of Procore to do that and track those ideas. And that way we can show, you know, or keep track of people that are submitting ideas and seeing if they come to fruition or not. So keep us all accountable for that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So with a good visionary integrator team relationship, there should be some really good healthy tension where there's some push and pull and push and pull, and from that you actually come to an agreement of a new idea that maybe nobody even thought of. So that's what I help facilitate. Brandon, if you would come up here also, wherever you are, we want to hear now from the visionary, the integrator team. Now we're going to go into some of the major functions of the organization. And starting, I think, with Melanie, with HR and finance.
Okay, so HR and finance, talk a little bit about kind of what I do. I need to make sure that our team gets all of you guys paid. We get all of our vendors paid. We get invoices out to our customers, and I got to make sure that we get paid from our customers. Along with that, I look at job profitability, make sure that people are getting hired, and also keeping people safe. As far as like where we've come, I can tell you I started here about 5.5 years ago, and when I started every Monday morning, I would come down to the U, which was in a different part of the building, go through the drawer and pick up all of your handwritten time cards and all your handwritten field sheets, and I would literally sit at a table probably for a good day as we got more people and compare everything on those and make sure that you had field sheets for everything that was on the time card. So we've come a long way now. We're in Procore. Nobody really has to sit and do that anymore. So, I mean, that's just one example. So I want to introduce you kind of the team in the office so you guys know kind of who does what. And when I call your guys' name, if you could just come up down here, that would be great.
Or come together.
All right, so we have Krista Burkle. She's our accounts payable coordinator. So she makes sure that all the AP invoices get entered. She applies them to the jobs. So when you guys order material and it doesn't have job numbers, then I think you get to hear from her. Megan Fahey, we have her. She's the HR coordinator. So now, instead of me having to do payroll, I have passed that off. So she makes sure that every week you guys get the paychecks. She also... Sorry, Krista. She also books hotel rooms, that type of thing. So if you need anything from her, that's where you go. Missy Townsend is not here today, but she works in accounts receivable and doing billing. And we've also added Deanna Horniman, who also, she's been pretty much doing billing for full-time also. Lori Seidel, she's up at the front desk. She's not back here right now, but she's been a great help for us to make sure that I can keep these guys billing people out. She's been answering the phones and getting all the filing completed. Just recently we hired Rob Updike, who is our recruiter. So his job is to make sure that we got enough people to do the jobs.
Battery.
Then we have
Critical role
Patrick.
for a growing company. If you know anybody, send them to Rob.
Then we have Patrick, he's in charge of keeping you guys safe, making sure everybody's working safe. Jeff Barber, he does IT and contracts, so he kind of makes sure that you guys have the tools that you need and that you know how to use them and use them effectively. And Carrie Danielson is also not here, but she's our scheduler, so she makes the schedule for you guys along with, she enters every single job that we have and she gets costs put in that job for me so I know where we're sitting at. And I guess that's what I got.
Morning, everybody. Put a little list together of all the states that we worked in last year, and kind of amazed me a little bit. We have Minnesota, Illinois, Georgia, North Dakota, Iowa, Colorado, Wisconsin. This year, we're looking at Arizona and many other states. Continue to grow our company up to the Twin Cities, adding more guys up there and more local journeymen to apprentices. And with that, I'd like to bring up our PMs. That's Al, who works a lot of our remote out-of-state jobs. Robert Summers, I don't know if he made it back yet or not. He was out in Colorado. He takes care of our Arctic mills out there. Derek Klein, he does a lot of our local industrial plants. Mitch Peters, same does our local industrial plants. Brian Gray, a lot of Rochester, southeast Minnesota industrial plants. Nathan Riddell, he does our residential. Todd Teens, he runs or takes care of Prospect and Hinkle and a few, or not Hinkle, but Harris up in the Twin Cities. And Brent Luckfield, who does about anything else we to do. Yeah, so these are the guys who kind of are answering to and are laying on their jobs. And, so.
All right, your 15 minutes of fame is over.
This year we had a couple new journeymen pass their test, Dave Eaton and Isaiah Hinch. And hopefully plenty more next year. With that, I'd like to kind of look at where our apprentices are and how many years what year you're at. So if first year apprentices can stand up.
Yeah.
Be shy.
That's me.
Second year. Third year. Fourth year. And our journey workers, journeymen. I think that's all. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Rich again.
All right, engineering team, it's your turn. First, I think we'll just go through and introduce everybody. We'll have everybody come up again. I know you guys love that kind of stuff. So, before we do that, though, just a quick background on the engineering group. I've been here for 3 years, a little over 3 years. And when I started, it was Dylan and Ethan and myself. And since then, we've grown to 13 people. We've opened the Eagan office up in the Twin Cities area, for those of you that don't know that. And we're growing fast. Got a panel shop going on up there. Got a lot of good things going on. So we're moving in the right direction. Our goals are going to be, our near-term goal is to build that team to about 20 people. So, give or take, depends on what the market bears, but that's kind of the goal. And someday I'll grow that facility in Egan and worry about the next step. So let's start with some introductions. We'll start with the programming guys. So these are the guys that program PLCs, HMIs, SCADA systems. Let's start with Wayne. Wayne Musselman, he's a senior automation engineer. These are the guys that, everybody's used to installing systems, right? Well, these are the guys that put the programs inside those PLCs to make the factories work. So, Dylan. And Husto. So going back to Dylan, Dylan's also an automation engineer, does PLC, HMI programming. Husto we're calling him a senior software engineer because he doesn't necessarily focus on PLCs and HMIs. He's more of just a software, a true software programmer. So if anybody's seen the little in-out board that we use up in Egan, I think they use it a little bit down here. It's just an app, and Husto created that. So he does a lot of the web-based programming and just all the little tools that we can use to help to make our jobs easier. So one of the things we're going to be doing in the future is just trying to figure out what are the tools, technologies that we can use to make our jobs easier. And he's one of the guys that can help us put some of that stuff together. So a couple of people that aren't here, you probably saw him yesterday, is Josh Irish. He is actually we're putting him into the automation manager position, taking that off my plate. So he also resides up in Egan. So definitely, when you're up in Egan or you're talking to people on our job sites, you see that we have automation on. Definitely look up Josh. He can help you out for sure. Let's see, designers. We have some control panel designers. Neither of them are here. It's Ethan Gamber and Mylan. They both are basically spend their day designing panels and drawing them, and then eventually sending those drawings to our panel shop where they can fabricate those panels. Who am I missing on the left? What's that? Oh, yeah, Mark. I don't think Mark's doing a startup right now over in Red Wing, so he's not here either. But Mark Brokaw, another automation engineer. Let's see, electrical engineering, Andy. He's here somewhere. Andy Penning. And I know Iman was here yesterday, but I don't see her today. So Andy, Iman, Rohan, and I see Brooke back there. You're going to be part of the group too. So Brooke's an intern out of Mankato, right? Electrical engineering intern, helping us out whenever she's on break from school. Electrical engineering side, so we're a design build contractor, right? Well, the first part of that is design, and that's what the electrical engineering group does, is do everything that we need to do to install these systems, put it on paper. I know the future is going to be 3D modeling and virtual reality, augmented reality, all those cool things that you're seeing coming out. That's what we're focusing on, is trying to get new tools in place. Andy Benning, he's our 3D modeler, so he does the cool stuff, kind of puts stuff into 3D models for us. Who am I missing on the engineering side? Panel shop. Come on up, Dan Pollock and Mike Davidson. So Dan is our production manager. He runs the shop up in Egan. And Mike is a panel builder. Those two guys together got an awesome group there. Those guys knock out panels left and right. They do a really good job. What you guys need, you should always be on the lookout for control panels out in the field. If you need something built, send it to our group. We can knock it out pretty quick. So, We are a UL 508 panel shop, so we do certify our panels for, so the inspector passes them. And we're also a UL 698 panel shop. Anybody know what that is? Kind of unique certification. Somebody knows about it. IAS, who said it? Yeah, Dawson, all right. It's intrinsically safe. So when we're putting instrumentation in the field that needs to be wired intrinsically safe, you need a corresponding control panel to interface with it. And that's a new certification that we've got over the last year. So just some new things that we can do in our panel shop. That is about it.
Okay, I'm Brandon Maxwell. I don't know, most of you probably have met me, I would say, but I'm in charge of, me and Carl kind of go hand in hand with the top side of the energy department, but I got a few more people we'll bring up here. Aaron Piperone is our newest employee on the energy side. He brings the most experience to the table. His official title is kind of up in the air yet, but it's energy guru. No.
Yeah, I could consider myself a subject matter expert to get a question. I've done it a lot.
I like your 8 gigawatts of 12 gigawatts of renewable experience under his belt. So and from a G gigawatt. So
I was the first one in the program. Built 5 gigawatts of solar.
That's my books when I left.
I'll get everybody up here, then I'll get Piper on the mic. You can tell he wants to talk, so let's let him talk. All right, Jim Parrish is our new O&M manager. John Mittendorf is one of our lead project managers on the energy side. Drew Lexvold is our construction manager in the field. Okay, I'll let Aaron talk now. He's a little twitchy up here, so.
Is this all right?
No, I come from lots of experience in renewable energy, and I'm excited to be here. I wasn't necessarily looking for a job, and Carl and I started talking, but it was something that the team and people here that was excited to be part of it. And I think there's potential that it's untapped at this time. So a lot of exciting things in the future for energy and the whole group, so it's exciting. So I can go on.
I really got nothing. I've been in.
This is Brandon's tactic for not having
his opportunity to get out and talking. I've just been in the industry a while, not nearly actually as long as either of these guys beside me, but I've got more of a service background, so that's why it fits for the O&M more.
Majority of my experience has been in the state of Minnesota. I've worked with, before I started working with electric, I use you guys as a sell on one of my projects. And good project. I know you guys pretty well there, and thought it was a good fit to come here. Helped out with getting the O&M department going. We got Jim here to take over. And then focus on construction. New projects. All right, here you go.
I've been here about a year and a half now, and I guess this is really my first experience with anything energy, solar, construction related, and been having a blast doing it. Thank you.
All right, can we have all the energy employees that work for us in the energy side stand up? It's probably just under half. Give these guys a round of applause. We basically started our energy in 2016 with 3 projects, which led to the whole rest of the board across here. So it's been a big thing since 2016 when we started. And next year we got this whole portfolio, these 2 as well, so we got a lot of work for next year. We need as many people as we can find. So all you energy, or every employee, try to, if you know people that are looking for a job, we're always looking. Especially, energy also, every side. So.
I think back to Carl's story when he said, bring 50 guys, and you brought 5. That's pretty impressive. You've done a lot of work since then.
A lot of you, I don't know, some of them are started here, some are way back here. You fit in, we'll do that at lunch. We'll talk about it at lunch when we'll put our dates on there. But I think that does energy.
Okay, so those are the primary functions.
Okay, I got stuck with 2. I got assets and buildings and facilities and all that tools, jazz. So. Honored with it, yes. In the last 5 years, we've probably added 50, 40 vehicles. It was easy when there was 5, right? Now there's 50, 60, 70. We've added equipment, skid loaders. Look at our tool department now. That is 10 times, 20 times what it used to be. And we got to try to keep all that stuff fixed. So I got Mark Fick. You might as well come up here. Mark is in charge of our tools, vehicles, trying to keep all the vehicles maintained, all the tools fixed. So when we get tools back, we just got to remember to, if it's broke, let somebody know. We're working on processes to get that process smoother, I would say, so we don't go out to the field and something's broke. Vehicles-wise, oil changes, try to keep up on 50 vehicles is a task in itself. So when something doesn't happen the first day, you got to give it a day or 2 just to let it work itself out, because you can't do everything in one day. Jenny, you might as well come up here. You're kind of our warehouse material expert, we'll call you, right?
Somebody else, you get your picture taken.
Who is going to take a picture from the back?
It's on video too.
She was in charge of a lot of material. She was in Egan for 6 months trying to organize the solar material that comes back from jobs, and just to try to keep her job a little bit easier, we're trying to get the sites to get rid of their own material so we don't have the shop's empty now. But it took a month to get it to look like this with all this stuff that we've accumulated over the last year. It's our yearly clean. We got to do this once a year. That's what makes us do it, right? So these 2 do a lot to keep their shop working how it works right now. So
yeah, if you guys could just, if you take a part off the shelf, if you bring it back, you have excess, put it back where you found it, please. It makes my job so much easier, and actually it makes your job easier because stuff is where it's supposed to be. So that'd be super helpful.
Jenny's mentioned she knows who's putting stuff in her office.
I've seen.
That's the back.
A lot of bad is there.
all right, Mark, the mic's right there.
Not really anything prepared, but
You look like it.
yeah, I know when Brian was talking about the tool crib when I started here nearly 3 years ago. It's not big. It should be 3 times that big. But we've grown that much on the tool aspect. The vehicle and equipment aspect too. We're looking at how many vehicles we've purchased since I started. 2017 was our big year. We're looking at ways to maybe roll out vehicles in a timely, organized fashion in the future. Yes, maintenance is a big one. Tactfully try to ask people that are out on the road, when you get maintenance done on the road, please get the maintenance records to me, take a snapshot, email them, text them, whatever. Maintenance is a big thing to keep track of for a lot of reasons, warranty reasons, our own maintenance records and things like that. It seems to get a little lax once in a while. You know, if you turn it in on a credit card, whether it's company or your own, please try to get me a copy as well. That's a big part of my job, is keeping track of our maintenance records on vehicles and equipment as well. So that's about all I got.
So, Tiffany, you're next with employee engagement. I think Jeff Barber on deck.
Hello? Yeah. So I'll introduce myself. Thanks, boss. First, let me say we have a new hire. She's not here. Her name's Jamie Kells. She's doing business development for us, sales, marketing. You can refer to Shane as Jamie's brother. He loves that. And Travis Jacobson, marketing, trade show, apparel. So I'm Tiffany, I'm 7 months in, and I deal with Carl's stuff, mostly, and apparel, or if someone needs a bridge built and they're like, hey, I got this person and they want to work for us, and can they reach out to you? Now that's a Robert Updike, but I'll be the bridge to help. And I love handing out all the new hats to our girls. Apparel, some travel stuff, and just mostly supporting with Carl's calendar and schedule and all those things. So my theme song that Thad picked is Happy, and it was really intended to just have a moment to say energy is the first word that came to mind. Maybe the trade show that I went to was in Utah, and it was about energy. And the girl sitting next to us, her name was Sarah, and she's like, I just sell energy. She was being funny about it, but I'm like, you know, we in this industry are kind of in a culture of caring for one another and supporting each other. And I know Pam mentioned that we're growing. So as we know more people like yourself that are hardworking, want to get here, show up, work hard, we're looking for those people, that talent, to keep the culture going and thriving. Carl did a nice job yesterday with the exercise of the whiteboard and saying how those relationships kind of go hand in hand, and then we build off of that, and we get business. And the more business that we're getting, because we have a good reputation, the more people we need to be working. And that really is my mission, is to like make things easy for you guys in the service industry of trying to help and support. If you guys can be there for each other and happy employees, then create happy customers, and we're going to get more customers and more jobs, and then we need to continue to network and recruit and basically just keep building this empire together to support one another. So my theme song of Happy feels, thank you. I mean, I want to be sent off on that. It feels very authentic to me. So I guess truly, like, all I was here to say was just being exactly who you are. If you wake up, you feel like you're a 4. You know, really elevate yourself and show up and get to a 6 through the day. You don't have to be me. That is. But just showing up and being your best version of yourself. And if you find people that work hard and they show up, we want to talk with them to continue to create this. So that's it. I am passing the baton to Jeff Barber. He's here to talk about exciting things such as IT and security.
Good morning, everybody.
his computer. They tried to send 68 emails to him to phish it. So we're constantly berated with fake messages, and we got to use uncommon sense to protect ourselves. So it's a really important aspect of cybersecurity. So we're going to talk about the history for a second. It's boring, but we'll do it. In '88, Robert Morris sent the first unattended worm. It destroyed computer systems in terms of functionality. 95, a little short hacking, took a couple $1 million, hit some banks. Because of Yahoo, there was 3 billion accounts that were hacked, and they were, estimated as $3 trillion in losses. And they're looking at $6 trillion for 2021. The important fact is this year, there's 14 seconds a business falls victim to ransomware. It's a huge number. And insurance companies are raising premiums on cyber insurance because of it. All right, so the important one here is they're saying it's more profitable than global trade of all major illegal drugs combined. That's just how profitable hacking is. So, think about all the people that have been in the drug industry. They're probably moving to this industry because it's more profitable. So, why it matters? Anytime you get an email, it's going to impact decreased confidence in communications. It's going to affect how people communicate with one another, how quickly we respond. It's looking at the email, understanding what it is, and interpreting that. Is it really legitimate? Because it's very easy to spoof this. Go ahead, next slide. All right. So, big one is to ask people for information like usernames, passwords, security numbers, birthdays. They might go to your Facebook page or LinkedIn. They're going to look for common interests. They're going to look for things that relate to you as a person, because you're likely to use something from your past as a password. So these are all common techniques to look for a phishing. So if you get a text message with a URL, you click it, it might inadvertently send spam to all of your coworkers. It can happen very easily. It's not hard to click a link thinking that it's something else. So you always want to type a link in rather than click it inside of an email, if possible, because you don't know where that link is going to go. So take time. Right. Emails with pictures, as soon as you open it up, the picture can trigger the virus. You won't even realize you have the virus, and the antivirus may not catch it right away. So, and leaving a random USB around, some people will do this. They'll just drop one in the parking lot, and you'll pick it up, stick it in your computer, and your computer won't even have a chance to scan it because there's a boot record on the drive that instantly infects the computer, and you won't even know that it's infected. Here's an example of Carl sending an email out, let's go get a gift card. It's a very realistic thing. Anyone could accidentally buy a $500 gift card and try to send it to somebody via email. And when that happens, well shit, you're out $500 and that's your own damn fault because you didn't ask anybody. Why the hell did you ask me to buy a $500 gift card? So you just don't want that to happen. Use a little uncommon sense and realize maybe the person asking, you'd be like, why did you do that? Alright. Social engineering. Cheap, dirty tricks, psychological tricks to get people to do it. That's social engineering. That's the definition. That's from Brian's TED Talk. Alright. So the common elements are pretext. The attacker pretends to contact someone. Just, hey, how you doing? Let's start talking. I want a business connection. Any of these relationship things. It's always the intro. It's how you meet somebody. So the most common people would be like Deanna, would be contacted Lori, or someone at the front desk. So they're going to establish trust and say, hey, I want to do business with your firm. Who in your company does IT? Who in your company is the CEO? What's their email address? I want to just email them. And that's a phishing technique common to start the conversation. So that way Deanna sends an email to Carl and says, hey, by the way, this guy emailed me. He says he wants to solicit us for a brand new solar project. And that's the pretext, so that way we click the link in the email. That starts the ball rolling. Then you go down with the baiting. You kind of give them something that they're like, hey, I want this. It would be like that email that sent out a while ago. It said, hey, this is payroll information. Click this, attachment. If you're not in payroll, why would you open the link? If something is not related to your job function, you should probably say, hey, Jeff, I got this. It's strange. Do you know if anybody else got this? Because commonly you'll have 10, 15 people that can email rather than just one person. And the tailgating, this is pretty common in industrial complexes. where if you're in a secure entrance on a building, you have somebody walk in behind you that you think they're another contractor, but they may be in there to try to gather information. All right, so impersonating, it's very common. We just talked about that a minute ago. Somebody said they were Carl. And it happens all the time. It's very common. This is kind of the whole, hey, I'm going to give you a survey, so you get a $50 gift card. I'm going to give you a free t-shirt. They're going to offer you or incentivize something. Quid pro quo. And the inducing fear thing would be like with ransomware. So they said, we locked your computer down, or an alert pops up on your screen that says, hey, your computer's not able to be used. That is to get you to click somewhere so that way it infects the machine. So we talked about this before, impersonating, that's the big one. Interfering, the intentional baiting links, it's just don't click a link. And it is phishing, yeah. And then there's spear phishing as well, where you're targeting one individual. So you're looking for a high value target. You're looking for them to have a large Rolodex of contacts. In fact, Pam would be a great contact because she's met so many people. So if you were able to get Pam's email portfolio, she could spam all of these CEOs that she's related to. All right, and fake emails. So you could have somebody send you a text message that looks like it's from Carl's phone, but it's not. So even if it looks like it's from his phone, it might show up as a separate text message. You're like, well, it's the same thing, but it won't show up in the link. Thank you.
All right, and I'm going to do a quick, you want to do business development or just do university? I'll do university. So I'm going to do a little KE University update. Derek, where'd you go? Hi, you moved. Last year, Derek did an awesome job of kind of getting our whole apprentice training, journeyman training to a new level. And this year we've worked, if you've been a part of KE University, you know it's a lot different than it was last year, and especially the year before, when we were doing a lot of journeyman test prep stuff. So that falls under the org chart, under my division there. So this, what we're at right now, is a big part of KE University. We don't want it to be just apprentice training. It's ongoing training. It's, if you have something that you're interested in VFDs, or you want to know more about the solar O&M, and you want more training on that, that all falls under KE University. The Thursday morning safety meeting, that falls under KE University. So all those things that are safety, training, just pushing us forward related are all under KE University. So as you see those emails come out for me, I'll always try to put a logo when I send out an email that shows you, hey, this is a KE University thing or a KE Summit thing. The surveys that I put out, I use that big red button because that's a picture that you have to click on and it says it's from me. So I'm trying to make mine a lot, they all look the same. So if you see a big red button that says click here, that's from me. But KE University going forward, what we'd like to see is more people own areas and own their own training. So we can sit up here and say, hey, we want to train you on this, we want to train you on this, but if you're not interested in that or you're not really excited about it, it's not going to have the same impact as if you come to us and say, hey, I would really like to learn this. I want to get training and be the best at this. And then we'll say, awesome, let's do that. Let's work your schedule. Let's talk to your foreman. Let's talk to your PM and get you that time to get trained in a whole new area. As this board continues to grow and expand and spiderweb out, there's new industries that are going to come up in the next 5 years that we haven't even thought of yet. So don't feel like, hey, I'm an electrician and this is what I do all day, or I'm an engineer and I do this all the time. Let's continue to think, what's the next thing? What's the next area that we're not in currently that we can keep pushing forward in? So if you have questions about KE University or any of that, you can talk to me. If you want to do business development, we got time. Yeah, Jamie's not here to talk marketing and business development, so Carl's going to hit that.
Okay, so obviously, thank you for everybody that's here this morning. This is a huge event that's helped put on, or basically led putting on. We started, Third year. So the first year we started it, it was, we grew a ton in 17. We had all those new people, all these new people that kind of were wondering where we were going, what we were doing. So we started this event. Every year it keeps getting better, just like everything we do, right? We take one small thing and we turn it into something big. We take one customer and we turn it into something big. Shane and Brandon and I had a lot of fun with this last night, trying to take that little storyboard that I had done and put it into dates and then going back and forth. Geez, when did we do this? Was it 2008? Was it 9? And we started to go, well, when was that kid born? Right? Oh, yeah, it was 8, 10, 12. And we were remembering jobs by when we had kids born and stuff like that. So it was fun. So that today at lunch, we're going to basically have people stand up, bring you up, you're going to introduce yourself, and we're going to put your first job. Where did you start? Where was your birth? Were you related to the blue line? Was it red? Was it purple, brown? Where did you start in the company? And just kind of see where everybody maps out as we get to know each other, right? Because this is all about building trust with each other, knowing each other's backgrounds, and the more we can trust each other, the better we operate as a team. So as we went through that accountability chart, and my name used to be in every single box on that chart pretty much. When we started this, it was, let's make an accountability chart. And in the old days, for those of you who have been here, plus 3 years, we used to have one too, but it was called the fuck off chart. And you knew where you were in the chart and who you could tell to fuck off and who you couldn't. It still has some weight, right? But we had to turn it into an accountability chart, had to church it up a little bit. And so we were trying to figure out how we were gonna, we're on, Rich, he's a very process, procedure guy, and he says trains run on time, but he's a Navy man, so it's make the ships run on time. But anyway, we're on revision 13 of that chart. It was a tough chart to put together to try and map out all the different things that we do, and it doesn't clearly capture everything that everybody does here. We all wear a lot of hats, we all do a lot of things. But it's pretty good, and Pam's helped us a lot, kind of challenged us, and it's good to remember it's an accountability chart. It's not an organizational chart, right? It's not a reporting chart, it's accountability. Who's accountable for that box? So we were trying to take my name out of some of those boxes, because to be honest, I can't do everything really well, right? We can only do a few things really well, and the other things we do so well. And there's stuff that it was just beyond me. When it was only one rope and one Allen set, I could handle that. That was good. But as we grew, we needed help to do it. So we've always been a grow from within company, right? We try and take our people that started in the company, we bring them up, and we try to backfill underneath them, and then raise those people up. And we're growing so fast, we can't sustain that. So we're bringing in outside people like Aaron and Chris, and a lot of you that are sitting in this room that are new to the company, and bring a ton of good resources and a ton of good knowledge, and you challenge us to think differently than we always have. So some of those boxes that are on there now are sales and marketing, which sales and marketing before used to just be me going out and talking to people, right? And saying, hey, we work for all these companies, can we work for you? And they'd be like, oh yeah, that looks good. And we'd go in there and we'd knock out work, and they'd take us to the next place and the next place. And that was our marketing plan, and it worked. But it's to the point now where I can't do that for all 3 business units. I'm only one person, right? So we made a sales and marketing, and we had estimating. Ian was sales and marketing, because to me, estimating kind of fit that box, but we've now split that off, and we have what's called a pre-construction box, because that's one thing we know we need to do better at, is our pre-construction efforts, right? It's everything from the point of having a contract up to handing it over for a lot of you to build it in the field, and really doing that well. And Derek's been one that's been really good to challenge us on that and help us build that, right? And Andy Penning comes up with a ton of good ideas for our electrical side to help us kind of move that ship forward and get designs done and not just go out in the field and wing it. Because for a lot of us, Shane, Brandon, Derek, Brian, Mitch, Thad, a lot of us, we can just go out and wire stuff on the electrical side. We didn't need drawings, right? Well, some of the stuff's getting so complex, and a lot of our customers want that. We need a pre-construction group that's planning everything out, that's getting those details done, getting all the permitting done, making sure we have the inspections done that we need. So our pre-construction group right now is led by me, and then in that team we've got Chris McCormick. Stand up, Chris. Chris is an excellent addition. We were not surprised yesterday when we did the personality thing. He's an analytical guy. Chris is very numbers, details, he loves it. He's a fantastic add to the team, because a lot of us are not that way, right? We're drivers. We go, get shit done. So, pre-construction side, we've got Chris, and we've got Randy Boss, who is our lead estimator. He's not here, he's ice fishing, and he's having a miserable time. So, it's snowing, he's not catching fish. He's wishing he was with us. He'll be here on Thursday. So, we're trying to build that team, we're trying to add another junior estimator, another senior estimator. Rich is part of that team because he leads all of our engineering pre-construction efforts and sales efforts on estimating on that side. So we're split underneath our pre-construction we have somebody leading our electrical, somebody leading the energy, and somebody leading the engineering. We're all kind of working together because a lot of times we work on the same projects. On the sales side, we hired, like I said, Jamie Kells. She's on vacation with her family. She's having a lot more fun than Randy's having. Checks in with us every day. She really wishes she was here. She's been a fantastic add to the team because she's taking care of all the crap that I would always have to do and not get done. So it is unbelievable the amount of effort that goes into our website, to our marketing material. It is a lot of work. And we got Travis Jacobson. Where are you? Stand up, Trav. So speaking of growing within, Travis started in the field throwing solar panels. He was really good at it. He's a big guy. He could throw a lot of solar panels. And he was going to school for marketing, and he wanted to know if he could do an internship for us. And I'm like, absolutely, that'd be great, because that you can do a lot of the shit that I don't like to do. And he came in, and we, like always, I like to throw people and throw a lot of stuff at them and see how they do with it. And Travis was not one to shy away from doing things, and he would get very overloaded and be like, wow, I really suck at this. And I'm like, no, I just put a lot of stuff on it, it's okay. So Jamie came in because we were starting to realize that it was a big effort to try and keep up with all the stuff, and the rebranding that we went through from Traction and all that came with that. There's a lot that goes into it, so it's a fun team. We have a lot of fun doing that type of stuff. One thing we ask from you, we get the way all of the Google analytics work on our websites, and you see us posting stuff on Facebook and LinkedIn all the time. If you see stuff, please like it, share it. We get rated. That's how we show up on Google. So the way, I've learned a lot about analytics on the website stuff over the last couple of years, and the way that we show up on Google is based on how many people like our posts and how many Google reviews we have. So if you go on Google, you can post a review on companies in your spare time while you're sitting here with nothing to do today. Excellent time to go on, give us 5 stars, say how great we are. You can say how bad we are if you want, but really don't like it, if you leave some good comments, come talk to us, then we want you to be happy. If you're not happy, find a different job, right? If you're in the middle, come up with ideas to help make it better, right? We want good people around us. It's no fun to come to work when you're unhappy, right? We want you to be happy, we want you to have fun. I mean, this place is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun at work. So to help us with that, and we want good people to work with us, right? And the best way to get good people to work with us is to get them to go, they always go out and stalk us online, right? And they say, oh, what's this company about? And when they see, oh, geez, all these people work here, they really like it, and I'm kind of like that guy, I could probably work there, right? So, like our stuff, share it, post, it just helps us show up on Google when people are searching for us, when customers are searching for us, it really makes a big difference, so.
Okay, this year we became, this spring we basically became an EPC in the solar world, right? So then we got to do dirt work now. So Brady Molman, Sawyer, Troy, you might as well stand up in this group too.
At lunch when we talked, we kind of started adding some of our services that we offer and add, and civil is just one of them, right? So as we went through our company, we started doing electrical work. And then we decided to start doing medium voltage work, right? And then we decided to start doing fiber. And then we got into renewables, and we started an actual engineering and automation group. And we added civil now, right? So we're doing civil to support our own work right now, but we're looking to take on other civil work and do site grading and, grow that business just like we've grown our other businesses, right? Our engineering and automation group started just to support our own electrical projects. Well, now they have their own projects doing their own work separate from the electrical side, and we intend to have our civil group do that same thing. We also have started doing mechanical work. So Mitch Ortson, right there, we just did a conveyor project and a robotics project for Federal Mall in Lake City where we actually did conveyor fabrication. He built in the shop and fabbed all the parts and pieces, put it together, and we automated. Dylan did the robotics on that, and did a full mechanical and electrical and robotics project for a customer. So there's a lot of cool things happening that not everybody gets to see or hear about, and we're always looking for the next thing, what's coming next, what else can we do with the talent that we have, because there's a lot of people here that have a lot of skills that we might not even know about. And if you're interested in any of these things, talk to us, let us know. If you want to get into the automation, if you want to get more engineering, you want to run equipment, everybody wears a lot of hats and can do a lot of things. I think that's what makes us such a great company.